give honor to God, my Heavenly Father, Pastor Foster and Sister Foster in their absence, and just the opportunity to give a message. I want to take a brief prayer for just a second. Heavenly Father, come once again to say thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for this day, Lord. Thank you for the opportunity that is given with this day, Lord. Thank you for everything that we take for granted, the sunshine, the water, the trees, everything that's your nature that you created, Lord. Thank you. Lord, I just thank you for the function of my limbs, Lord. Lord, I just come to ask for strength and the guidance that the Spirit will be within me, where there is more of you and less of me, Lord, that you will control my thoughts and my mind and my tongue, that the Spirit will be delivering to those in need to hear the word. Lord, I just thank you for just everything you've done. Lord, forgive me all my sins, those of omission and commission, Lord. Let me be a clean slate in order to walk in the right path of righteousness, Lord. Lord, I just thank you for everyone that is here who's over to draw and be closer to the word. Lord, just thank you for life itself and just the word of your Son that you had sacrificed and that he was stretched on the cross. We ask it all in your darling Son, in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. As a deacon and our teacher, we are prepared to have a word ready when the pastor is of absence. So this is no unfamiliar task for me. Now, it was a little bit of nerves because this is my first time doing it from the pulpit. So understanding that, as Pastor has explained, that we are pulling people to the pit to be saved. So I want to understand that I respect the call that Pastor Majors and his help that he's given me also. Amen. If you will, turn your Bibles to the book of Ephesians, chapter 4. When all God's children have it, say amen. 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 All right, therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called, with all lowliness and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body, and one Spirit, even as ye are called, and one hope of your calling. One Lord, one faith, one baptism. One God and Father of all, who is above all, and through all, and in you all. But unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Christ.
All right.
With the words being said from Ephesians, we know that Paul was a prisoner in Rome. And he wrote a letter to Ephesians, the Ephesians, people of the land, to remind them from the time that he was there in his pilgrimage that he reminded them of their duties to understand their works in faith or their calling. So with that, I want to say to you today that God is calling you, but there is no call waiting. Now, speaking of call waiting, we see a phone. The phone is the most commonly used device that we use today. But I want to speak of one feature, and that's the call waiting feature. With that feature, you can answer a phone call while on that phone call. You can let the first caller be on hold, or you can refuse the second call altogether. Now, God has a call for each and every one of us. Now, the thing about that, you can't just put God on hold to do your own thing. So in the meeting, I say, God is calling you, but there is no call waiting.
All right now.
Amen. Now, we also have another word when we speak of saying being called. In the church, we say ordained. And meaning for ordained that we are called, that we are appointed, that we are instructed to accomplish something. So when you know of God's works, when you know his blessing, what he has done for you, when he has called you, you must answer, you must listen, and you must beckon to the call.
Yeah.
Because there is no call waiting. Now God puts us in how he wants to use us when and how he wants to use us. So time is of the essence when he says call. Now, we read in the Bible that many people were called by God by name. Now the thing about that, I noticed he didn't call them just one time, he called them twice. Now if you go to Genesis in 22 verse 11, Abraham in his unusual sacrifice was called twice. Abraham. Further in the chapter, Jacob in his journey to Egypt, he was called twice. Jacob. And even with Moses, with the burning bush, he was called by the voice of God.
Yeah.
Moses. So we're saying that, knowing that we might fall short in doing that we all sinners, that God has to get our attention. So he doesn't have to call us one time, but call us a secondary time.
Okay.
All right.
So in his calling, it may be certain events that he brings in our lives that hit home. They might not hit home the first time, but will hit home the second time.
I hear you.
So when you may not be, because God has to prepare us. We have to be mentally ready, and we have to be structurally strong and mentally strong in order to do God's will.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah, we do.
Now I want to tell a story about myself and knowing my personal call and then going into my calling. I was a young man, 20 years old at Jarvis Christian College. And they had a service that was there, usually on Wednesday nights. And it was a lady, she was an evangelist. And after the service, she came and spoke to us individually. Now, she prophesied to us, and for some other people that I saw, I thought it to be far-fetched. But when she got to me, I remember having on my fraternity jacket. I see my frat brothers in the congregation. I had my fraternity jacket on. She told me these words, and they stuck with me ever since that day. She said, "This is nice. What you're doing for your fraternity, that's nice. But your true calling, you're going to be a worker in the church." And she looked me dead in my eyes, and something I knew, being raised in the church, being a little boy, no smaller than my youngest son, that knew it, church was a part of my life because that's where our family was instilled in.
Yeah.
So with that, a young man, I still thought as a young man, but still I stored that in the back of my mind with those nuggets and saying that, okay, I will be a worker in the church. But as we all in youth, we try to run. We try to dodge our calling when it's said, but no, God has his timeline and when he wants us to be in use. So years later, my grandfather, he passed away. And we had the repast right in the back of this very building. And my cousin Charles, a preacher from Corsicana, he told me these words. As witty as it was, it went home to me. He said, "Are you a preacher?" And I laughed and I said, "No." But he said, "Well, are you a deacon?" And I said, "No." He said, "Well, you know what? You look like one." You look like one. So something to that resonated in me, knowing what I had in the back of my mind from being evangelized on being a worker in the church.
Okay.
And I had instructions from my pastors. It was first Sunday, said, wear your red tie, your pawpaw's red tie, your white shirt. That's what we customary wear on first Sunday. And something just came to me. That was the call that saying it is time for me to stop playing. It is time for me to serve. And I knew from then that was me understanding my call.
All right.
Now we say, understand, the call can come from many ways. There is an inward call, where the call may be personally to you from God, or there is an external call, where there is a message, where there's someone or something that draws you to the Word of God. Now there's a call of purpose. There's a call of message. Now, I may not know it, but people are called at different ages and just different times of their life. Now I heard a prayer from young Jeremiah on last week that could have brought the strongest man down to his knees, because it was sincere and it was honest and it was of youth. It was simple and plain to the point, and he brought that home. I mean, it tore me up, knowing that he was praying from his heart, and that was a message that's drawn that might have touched somebody else. So when I say God is calling you, but there is no call waiting.
Come on, baby, break it down, baby.
Now we must understand our call. See, there are different things that can get us in the attention that I've said before. Understand your call. When God puts you somewhere, when God puts you in a place that you would never think you will be, understand and answer your call. Understand your call when you come out of something that you couldn't even imagine or fathom you getting yourself out of. When you see that happening, answer and understand your call.
Amen.
Now we all do fall short sometimes, and we also do have our own. We do lean into our own understanding, but we all know in the Word that there are consequences to leaning in your own understanding. Now, if you lean into your own understanding, when God has blessed you time after time, when you lean on your own understanding and you know that God can do, and you've seen it for yourself, understand that God will put a whooping on you. Understand that. Now, when God simply calls us, we can't just simply put him to the side.
No, we can't.
There's just no way to do it. Now, he's going to get your attention one way or the other. Now, you may not see it, but once you go through those storms and your trials and tribulation, and he breaks you down, that's when you understand it's time to follow your call. Now, we know that God is a powerful God. We know that God is a jealous God. And in the Bible, it speaks of his words and his punishment of those who not only put God on hold, but actually rejected the call. Now, in Isaiah 66:4, Isaiah being a prophet, he talked to the people, and he was concerned of the people, and God told to them, I choose their delusions, and I will bring their fears upon them. Because when I called, no one answered. And when I spake, none did hear. Even more, he punished others in Jeremiah 35:17, Acts 18:6, knowing that when you go against his word, when he is called, that word is bond, that he has said, it is signed, sealed, and delivered. So when God is calling you, there is no call waiting.
All right.
Now, with the punishment that was said from those who rejected the call, just imagine how would it be if you trying to put God on your own schedule. How do you think God feels when you give him an excuse? Some people say, I'm too young. Some people will say that my mind isn't right. Maybe when I'm more financially stable, can I be a better servant to God? But if God calls you now in your financial situation, God has called you in your time of your youth. If God has called you when you might be going through some trials, when things might be stirred up in your soul, he is calling you then and calling you now. So there is no call waiting. You can run all you want, but God is going to get your attention sooner or later. Now, I don't try not to hold you long, but I just want you to know that sometimes we might not know or interpret what the call is. So sometimes we have to get a relationship with God. We have to get a relationship with the Word. So if you understand that something is pricking in your spirit, that something is if a message that is heard, if it's hitting you all upside your head and stepping on all your toes, then it is time to answer your call. If something is nagging you for the better, then that is time for you to answer your call. See that That's the thing we try to, in almost our life, we try to categorize everything, put everything in a certain box.
Yeah.
We know that God is an unusual God. So if you are in the down or the dumps, he will still speak to you. You can still speak to others.
Yes.
If you were in that penitentiary, you still are a child of God. You can still be used. So if he calls you in the lowest depths of life, he is still using you. That is still your call. Now we look at, we might be financially stable or high on the hall, but God can take that away.
Okay.
Leading to your own understanding would have that take away from you, just to understand what you had.
Yes.
But knowing that, because see, our call is not just for ourselves. Our call is for others.
That's right.
That's what we do. We are designed and built to serve God. So when it comes to our call, we are tools to be used to be better for someone else.
Amen.
As my deacon brother said always, he said, iron sharpens iron.
That's right.
So as me being blessed, I must bless someone else. I must teach someone else. I must speak to someone else.
Yes.
So that is my calling that was brought unto me. So I understand that I have a duty and a service. Now I was back to the nervousness that I had was not really just speaking in front of you. It was just understanding the respect I had for a pastor's calling. And I spoke about it Wednesday, and I said, as a deacon, I can physically walk and physically do my calling. I can go physically look after the sick. I can go physically with my wife, go take care of the widows. I can physically handle the business affairs of the church. But I said, as a pastor and a preacher who's giving a message and a word, I kind of saw it as he had to accomplish three things in one message. First, the pastor in that message would have to reaffirm those who are faithful. Those who may be troubled with that, but knowing that God is real, understand that where it's found in the word and it's found in the parables and things that God and Jesus have said, that it is confirmation to that believer. Then, in that same message, for those who may not know God, may not know of his word, must be enlightened and also introduced into the word where it is drawing them closer to be saved.
That's right.
And third and lastly, that with that same message, you also have to challenge the skeptic. All of that in one message. Three separate things, and I said I had to have a newfound respect for that when the words that are used are so powerful. And I just close to say that God has a call for each and every one of us. Whether it be big or small, whether it be a journey here in your hometown or somewhere else. If you open yourselves up, if you pray and you keep your mind and your heart and your spirit clear, that God will use you. And he will use you as a tool to be wherever you need to be. It might not be the place where you're the most comfortable. It might not be the place where you feel the most safe. But God has led you there, and God has led you there. So there is said again in close, there is no call waiting when it comes to God's call in order for you to utilize in your calling. So I say to you, just let God use you. And I just pray that God continue to use me to be that vessel, that chosen vessel, to be a worker, to be a deliverer of the word, and also to be a physical example of what the word can do. Thank you.